Hi, I'm Andre and I'm a black nerd with a review for you, Better Reviews. Yes, I like to review movies sometimes. Subscribe, please. Ralph Breaks the Internet, Wreck-It Ralph 2. It's Wreck-It Ralph, but this time with the internet, so the video games. Best synopsis ever. I generally felt good about this movie. I'm actually going to go see it again. I really enjoyed this movie a lot. There were some things I had to get over, and then once I was able to do that, I was able to enjoy the movie a lot more. So I'm gonna do this for you now. I'm sorry if you think this is a spoiler, but I think it's something you need to note. If you are going in this movie because the first movie you had those nostalgia feels about all those classic video game characters and you're hoping to see a lot more of that in this movie, sit down for a second. It's not a bad thing because the movie is a very good thing to watch, but just letting you know right now, you're not gonna get much more of those classic video game characters like you saw when they popped up in the first film. The only reason why I'm letting you know this is because I've seen some rumors floating around about, ooh, Wreck-It Ralph 2, once they announced they were gonna have it, like, ooh, who's gonna be in the movie? Are they gonna get Mario in the movie this time? What other video game characters are they gonna get in this movie? Don't worry about that. If you saw him in the first film, you probably, maybe will see him again. Maybe they're hanging out with minions now. I don't know. This is definitely more about the adventures of Ralph and Vanellope in the internet than it is in the arcade. You do get some arcade stuff, don't worry. We do spend some time there, but eventually they will go to the internet. It took me a minute to be like, oh, okay, the nostalgia's not gonna be here and I gotta deal with this internet stuff. But once I got past that, I enjoyed it. So I'm letting you know that so that way you don't have to have that moment and you can just enjoy it. You gotta let that go. Let it go. Let it go. It's kind of the same way as it is in the first film. Like in the first film, you had the arcade, you had some actual arcade games, and then you had a couple of fake games like Hero's Duty and Sugar Rush that we spent the majority of the time in. The internet is the same way in this movie. You get some actual sites that you know, but then most of the internet time is spent in fictional sites and fictional worlds. Basically what I'm saying is a lot of internet stuff in it. But what's good is that the internet stuff is actually enjoyable. This is what I was nervous about because I did have those Emoji Movie flashbacks when they showed that shot in the trailer of Ralph looking at all the different websites. I was like, not again, not again. No, I can't go back there, man. But I'm glad to say that, I don't even know why I would have to even say to you that a Disney movie is better than the Emoji Movie, but just in case you were concerned, if somehow Disney was gonna be able to do better with talking about the internet than the Emoji Movie, let me tell you, they did. Are you good now? I'm sure that was a concern everyone had. Could Disney actually do better than the Emoji Movie? They did. Yes, of course, when you're talking about the internet, there's gonna be a couple of jokes. You're gonna be like, oh, I know this one, I know that one. But you gotta remember that we know a lot about the internet because we're on it all the time. Me making videos, you watching videos. But there's a lot of people that have that surface level knowledge of the internet. So some of those jokes that we've seen all the time is gonna be new to them. And also, there were some jokes that they put in here or some references or things I was like, oh, I have not seen that before. That is actually a nice, cool, creative way that you did something with the internet, or even just how the internet works in their world. Like Disney's internet, I'm sorry, it's so much cooler than our internet. Like if I could trade our real internet for Disney's internet, I'm about it all the time. Like there's a part, I think it's in the trailer, there's a scene where there's Twitter, it's like a bunch of cute little blue birds just like going tee 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 tee, and little bubbles pop up, and I'm like, I want that Twitter. I don't want the Twitter I'm in. Give me the Disney Twitter. I will say this though. Because it is dealing with the internet and there's a particular thing that Ralph does while he's in the internet, it hit a little too close to home, okay? There's this site that they go to that's totally not YouTube. But there is some stuff that is said about it that I was like, that's just too real. I don't know who did that research, but that is just too real. Did y'all talk to some internet personalities before you made this movie? Because some of this stuff is too on the nose. And considering that you've been working on this movie for a while, the fact that some of it is still too on the nose freaks me out. And I was like, ugh. Yeah, they kind of pointing at some nerves right now. There's this one part, I'm not gonna say too much. Ralph goes in a room, and you will see the name of the room before he goes into it. And when I saw him walk into that room, I was just like, no. I said it out loud. I was like, no, Ralph, don't. Too close to home. Is this how doctors feel when they watch medical dramas? I was just like, oh, this is hilarious, but also kind of sad. So good job for making me feel this way, because I'm like, wow, you're making me laugh and it's also painfully accurate. So Congratulations on both counts, both for entertaining me and also being right on the money. Too much on the money. Talking about money. Of course, you get some of the classics coming back. Ralph, Penelope, Fix-It-Felix Jr., Sergeant Calhoun. Some show up more than others. But I did like the new characters in this movie. I particularly like Knowsmore. You saw him in the trailer. He's kind of like the search engine guy. I just liked his animation style because he's 3D animated, but his eyeballs are kind of like classic 2D style. And I thought that was really neat. And you know, usually every once in a while, an animated film gives me a cartoon crush. Wreck-It Ralph 2, you gave me two. Two for the price of one. You got Shank and you got Yes, and I'm saying yes to both of them. I'm like, oh my God. They both are beautiful. They both have very nice skin complexion. One literally being blue, and I collect Smurfs, so that works for me. One's voiced by Taraji P. Henson, and the other is voiced by Gal Gadot. Oh, the fan fiction. Speaking of fan fiction, there's a scene in this movie, and I won't say too much about it, but if you see the trailers or if you've heard the news, you know there's a very particular scene in this film that features a bunch of iconic characters together at one time. That scene is absolutely beautiful. I wish they didn't show as much of it in the trailer as they did, but trust me, there is more of it than what is in the trailer, and it is all good. Like that, honestly, I love the Wreck-It Ralph stuff. That could have been its own movie. It was so enjoyable and so neat, and the way to see these different characters together and interacting with each other and interacting with Penelope, and then it leads to something really awesome after that I will not say. But I was like, wow, Disney once again doing that meta commentary on themselves. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Because they're in the internet, you want to, of course, look around the background, like look at what the signs say, look at all that stuff. That stuff is fun. There's a couple of cameos in this movie. There's one that was like, It was like when I saw it, back when I saw it, I was like, ha ha. But now I'm gonna be like, And when the credits come up, sit down. Be humble. Do not leave. Stay all the way through. I'm talking like all the way to the very, very end. Just stick around. You're gonna wanna stay all the way to the end for some silliness. The movie's funny, it's got some good moments. It's scary at times. There's this one part that's like scary, weird, borderline creepy. Like it freaked me out. Like I was literally in my seat like, I don't like this. I don't like this. So that was a good job. I mean, for a Disney animated movie to give me that feel, I was like, good job. And I gotta give big props on this movie for this one. There is a lesson that is learned or that is taught, moral of the story in this movie, that is done right. I have seen this specific type of scenario take place in other movies and other television shows, and the outcome I've always went, I don't honestly think that's the best outcome. This movie does the right outcome and does it in a very mature way. And for a Disney animated, quote-unquote, kids film to handle a situation and come up with a logical, mature result. When I've seen live action movies or TV shows that's featured adults or teenagers not deal with this in the right way, like that was impressive. They gave the real world version. Like usually we've been getting the Hollywood version. They gave the real world version, and I like that. Criticisms, you know, because it's Ralph and Penelope, they kind of go into that, you know, farts and burps and stuff. The kids love that kind of stuff, but to me, it was one too many. And like I already said, you just got to get over the fact that the nostalgia feels are probably not going to be as strong with this one. You're not going to see a bunch of 80s and 90s video game characters running around, or at least newer ones, like you were maybe hoping. If you just need a bunch of characters on the screen that you can go, I know that one, I know that one, I know that one. Ready Player One on DVD and Blu-ray and 4K. Not sponsored, just letting you know they'll take care of that for you. Wreck-It Ralph is all about, or Ralph Breaks the Internet, I should say, is all about telling its story, and it worked for the most part. I still feel like structure-wise, the first one works better, but there's some really cool stuff in this movie that I think you will enjoy. It's fun. I liked it. Ralph, I can't never say that title though. That's my problem with this movie. This title, Ralph Breaks the Internet, Wreck-It Ralph 2. First off, why can't it be Ralph Wrecks the Internet? It's right there. I get break the internet is a phrase, but you know, Ralph ain't no Kardashian. So I would highly recommend Wreck-It Ralph 2. If you're new here, please subscribe and also ring that notification to be part of my squad by the bell. I love you like a play cousin. I'm Audi 5000. I'm gonna wreck it. Seriously now, I'm gonna cry, man. I need a therapy session after watching some of this internet stuff in this movie. I can't believe they hit me on the feels too deep. Too deep. Deep cuts. Deep cuts.